Heyo, this is Paul Zhang, and the video today is going to be on why you should be the bank, right? So we'll go over a couple things. The first thing is they make a lot of money, and how do they make their money? By lending out their money. Okay, so you can do this too with land investing. Okay, so we'll go through a couple different parts over here, right? So the first thing that we have to think about is, like, if you think about money, the people that have the most amount of money is the bank, right? And if you need something for a business venture or for some kind of house or car that you're trying to buy, you're gonna go to the bank, right? And it's because they have a large pool of money, and their business model has been like, hey, we're gonna take your money, give us your deposits, and the government will help them because they'll increase the amount of lending power. They make their money by lending out money to other people, right? So this video is going to be about, like, why you should be the bank, right? And how like you can get around to this, right? So if you look at the bank is really trying to lend people lend people money, right? Because when they lend out that money, they're gonna get an interest rate, right? They're gonna get, every time that person makes, any person that gets a loan and borrows from the bank, they're gonna get an interest rate on the amount that they loaned out, right? And that interest amount, it might not seem like much, but when you multiply it by so many people, right, it becomes a huge revenue stream for them. And this is the way that banks have made their money, just from the interest, right? If you think about this, right, it's happening in different markets, right? One of the most famous ones are in real estate and in cars. And out of those two, I think that the land investing sub-niche within real estate is the best way to get into owner financing, a kind of like revenue stream that will give you the ability to lend money, right? Because like we don't have like an unlimited amount of funds that like a bank might be able to have, right, to fund huge projects, right, and just make their money just from the interest rate. But the thing that real estate in general lets us do is to get into creative financing situations, specifically in owner financing. And what owner financing lets us do is it will let us lend out, by securing our asset, we lend out a loan, right, to the person that's going to purchase our property, right? And we're not going to use the bank. We are going to be the bank, and we're essentially going to get principal payments and an interest amount. Okay, so here's the really interesting thing, right? So like with houses, I feel like the margins aren't as great, but I feel like land investing is pretty similar to the car industry. So if you look at the car industry, right, they actually make their money, right, from the actual sale, right? So what happens is, like, if you have your car, right, the car manufacturers will sell them to dealerships, right, and they have their basically the principal amount, like, hey, they have their manufacturing costs, they have their sales team, and all their other costs, and then there's a margin there that they need to sell you on, and they're willing to give you a low financing option, right? Like, they're okay with you going to another bank, but usually they'll have like their own lending infrastructure so that they can also get the interest rate. But generally, right, when you go purchase a car, you have your like, as soon as you do it, the car dealership will make their money right from the principal amount, right? So like land investing, it's really similar to that, but we're able to capitalize on two parts: the principal payments as well as the interest. Okay, so the goal of this video is like this principal thought, hey, we should become the bank, right? And so if you think about this, right, what we're able to do with land investing is that we will buy land for 25 cents on the dollar. And so we will try selling it. Usually I'll go to about like 80% or 90% of the value of the property, but there's a large amount of principal there, a lot of equity there that when we bought it, like we're able to capitalize on it when we sell it. And when we sell it, we're able to make our money from the principal, but also because we have become the bank, we're also able to charge an interest rate. And that interest rate, when we started with it, we started with 4%, but increasingly we've increased it to 5% and now around 6%. It's because people are willing to do it, right? Because with owner financing, we don't have as strict, credit requirements or your job. Like we don't really look into that. We focus just kind of on the land itself. If worst case they don't make their payments, we take the land and we sell it to someone else, right? But we're able to get payments on the principal and make our money kind of like a car dealership, but we're also able to get the interest amount from just as a bank would and make money off of that principal too. Right? So it's kind of like a double whammy, like two income streams right there. We make money from our principal payments and our interest payments, okay? There's actually another one, because if you maintain your own notes, you can charge another fee. We usually charge $10, but we have friends that charge $20, right, for note maintenance. And it might not seem like much, but when you talk about 100 loans, right, it becomes a sizable, decent chunk of change every month that comes in. So, you could do the math on that, just on note maintenance, but I mean, the real money is kind of on the interest amount, as well as the principal payments that you will get from land investing. Okay, so I think that covers it, right? Why be the bank? They make a lot of money, so you should be the bank, right? How do they make their money? By lending out their loans. And you could do this too by getting at least into the owner financing creative world within real estate. And I'm just recommending, right? You could do houses. It's just your profit margins are less, right? If you buy a house for 100,000 and your owner financing for 120, right? The margins there are a lot tighter, and there could be potential problems with foreclosing on it, or if there's any issues there, any damages that the owner was supposed to cover, that they might just default on. Whereas land, you really don't have those issues as much, right? Foreclosing, if you set up your paperwork pretty well, it's really not an issue. And if they they can't really damage land, right? If they burn the land, they just cleared the land for you. You know what I mean? So it's land is just a lot more sustainable, and it's just a lot stronger as an asset class. That, at least for us, that's what we found. Because we're able to get much better deals from our land deals. Okay. So that's it. Be the bank. That's the principle. This is Paul Jang. There are freebies in the description below if you need anything. And if you like this video, subscribe. I'll try putting out videos like this that might help you. All right, take care. Have a good one.